All right, welcome to this afternoon's work session. First order of business will be to see if there's any preliminary items for next week's board agenda meeting that any of the board members would like to discuss. All right, hearing none, we will go into our work session items. MARTA Quarter 2 quarterly briefing. Mr. Collie Greenwood.
Thank you, Chairman Turner.
How are you?
Good afternoon, everyone. Nice to see everyone. Thank you for having MARTA here. I am Collie Greenwood, General Manager, CEO of MARTA. We're happy to present this Q2 update. I just want to acknowledge our board members, Chair of the MARTA Board, Catherine Powers, and Ms. Valencia Williams, who are monitoring remotely. Also want to thank Carrie Rocha and Adam, who are here, for supporting me through this preparation. On this first slide, just bring it to everyone's attention. This is the second bus that we've wrapped to recognize civil rights icons this year. It marks the 60th anniversary of the Civil Rights Act, and so all special buses will make a tour through Clayton County on Route 196, which is the highest visibility route that we have going through Clayton. So this is the second one. The Martin Luther King bus was wrapped earlier in recognition of the King holiday. And Ms. Abernathy's family was with us this day that we unveiled the bus, and everyone appreciated the event. Ms. Abernathy served on the MARTA board, of course, for 16 years and advocated tirelessly for customers throughout our network. So on to our agenda. We'll be talking about our key operational programs and progress in Clayton County and the state of our capital expansion program in the county. We're also going to talk about our community engagement efforts around our FY25 budget and other matters of interest to the community. So up first, some operational updates, most notably our revenue ridership. You can see here that the trends continue, still trending positively, though not as pronounced as in previous quarters. So it appears to be flattening out, yet still moving north, which is what we want to see. We've decided to add a little lens there, talking about Clayton specifically in terms of some of our ridership. So our reduced fare registrants, there are 1,744 of them residing in Clayton County, and our mobility registrants, there are 800 of them residing in Clayton County. Clayton routes in specifics, you can see ridership for Clayton is trending up a little bit more decisively than the overall trend over the same time frame from 2019 to today. There are 12 routes included in this assessment, and those are the ones that pass through substantially working inside of Clayton. There are other routes that pass through, but some of them are only within those boundaries very briefly. But these 12 routes that our planning department considers to be serving Clayton substantially are the ones that are climbing more decisively in terms of ridership. And then in terms of mobility, you can see overall this is the trend overall in mobility, actually approaching a return to pre-pandemic levels with a trend line that aggressively approaches that. And again, Clayton has 800 registrants out of the 11,200 some odd mobility registrants overall. Over to our programmatic highlights now. This is the 1,000 amenities program, and we had committed to 30 amenities per year for Clayton County. Slow start in the first of the 5 fiscal years, of course. Then we had the pandemic, and we had supply chain issues and workforce issues and permitting issues. We got all that sorted out, and in order to make our commitment over the course of 5 years, we needed to bring in, by the end of FY24, 150. So we're almost there. 53 of those remaining 150 are now installed. 5 of them are under construction, with 9 left in permitting or design. And the majority of those that are left there's not the big shed, bus stop canopies that need to be designed. It's really semi-seats, benches, and things like that. So the permitting and design and construction phase, much faster. I have no doubt in my mind that we will meet that 150 within the time frame that we originally agreed to. And of course, I won't belabor this point, but one more time, this is what it looks like. It's a difference maker for people that depend on a managed space, protection from the elements, and a place to sit. And you'll even see in that the new bus stop, which is a new regional bus stop. There's about 2,800 of those stop conversions completed so far. I believe we've talked about this in the past and the benefits that these bus stops hold over the original. So I won't belabor it, but happy to answer any questions on that. Safe routes to transit. This is coming to Clayton very soon. Almost every trip, of course, begins on foot or with some assistive device. You don't just leave your house and end up at a bus stop. So how do we get people to these high ridership locations safely? And so we're working with our partners in Clayton County to make sure that we have a mix of high visibility crosswalks, curb extensions, medians, and pedestrian beacons. As we've been delivering our shelters, it's become apparent that shelters alone aren't the answer. You've got to have a safe way to get people to and from these locations. So this program, with strong support from our congressional delegation, will deliver high ridership bus stops with these amenities. And the project team is actively collaborating with GDOT and the county to deliver this project. And county staff, Keith Rowling and Adam Ivory, have already reviewed and provided feedback to 11 of the 15 sites that we've shared with them so far. Big news down at the airport station, of course. Everyone's seeing the social media about the work that's happening down there. We are beyond the halfway mark now of that 6-week closure that we had, we told everyone we were going to do. This is what it looks like right now, so it's no place to be catching a vehicle. We are on track to returning the service to folks when we said we would at the end of the 16th, so that the station is closed until May 19th. So those 6 weeks, we will meet that target. The scope of the project, of course, includes new terrazzo flooring, a ride store, wall cladding, public art mural, replacement of the existing elevator or refurbishment, and also adding another elevator, addition of a new canopy as well, and the underpinnings that have to happen to make all of that work. So in the meantime, there is a bus shuttle that is happening flawlessly since inception of this closure, and it'll get you from airport to College Park Station in 8 minutes or less, and it's just been very, very well received, and as I said, operating flawlessly. So we're nearly there. Thanks to everyone for helping to spread the word and for your patience during this important time frame. And as I've said before, this 6-week closure has actually helped us save 17 months of construction time so that we get this thing ready in time for the FIFA World Cup. On to some capital expansion work, the Justice Center Transit Hub update. We've met with Clayton County Director of Maintenance to discuss the fencing request and the expectations. We've also initiated conversations with MARTA Maintenance on how we can procure those services now that the design scope has been defined, along with entertaining other options to expedite the installation. And the main point here is that the expectation for final design completion is this summer. So it's a $21.5 million investment, with December 2026 in our scope as the project completion date. The Multi-Purpose Operations Center, again, this is a $2 million It's not a $2 million investment.
I was about to say.
No. That's the Lego version is a $2 million investment. So thank you, Carrie. It's a $285 million investment, August 2029 completion date. We just released that demolition bid package, so that's going to close on June 12th. Our plans are 90% complete, and we will be completed by Q4 2024 in terms of those plans. So again, for those that don't recall, this means not only does it mean hundreds of jobs in Clayton County, and that, I used to say it's the bricks and mortar representation of the fact that MARTA is not just passing through Clayton County anymore, we're going to live here. But it also means operational flexibility and functionality, making sure that buses that leave this garage can get to work immediately inside of Clayton County and not have to be coming to Clayton in what we call deadhead miles or unproductive miles while they travel not in service. It also means in the event of vehicle maintenance, we've got a maintenance facility right here. I'm going to try this. So we'll go Marta Rapids South Lake. This is just a quick BRT update. After that successful public meeting on March 28th, we want to thank the Clayton County Board of Commissioners for approving the amended LPA resolution on April 16th. And in turn, the MARTA Board approved the new alignment as well on May 9th. So we're currently in the middle of a competitive solicitation to hire a final design consultant, and that solicitation will close on June 20th. So there's a lot happening imminently, and I hope people can start to feel the momentum that's happening inside of Clayton County. This is a $390 million investment with revenue service coming in 2030. I'm going to try to get this public open house playing with assistance from my friend here. And it's just a, if you weren't there, it gives you a sense of what went on, a really brief outlook on the engagement. So we had nearly 40 people join us at the open house on April 28th, and there was lots of positive feedback, and the team was also collecting digital surveys from those who could not attend in person.
Marcus Arnold, Director of Federal Corridors and Hubs with MARTA, and I'm excited today. We have our open house for the Clayton South Lake Rapid project. We are definitely excited to be here. Great to see a lot of folks coming out and really learning about this project and the benefits of bus rapid transit for Clayton County. Getting a lot of great input, great feedback on a potential for direct connection to the airport is what we're looking at as part of the project right now, and it's really going to open up opportunities for access to more jobs, greater multimodal connections as well. Definitely excited to get a lot of good feedback about the project, and we feel like it's going to provide even quicker service to get to the airport, to get to MARTA Rail and other parts of the region as well as getting even more and better connectivity and mobility options within Clayton County. So very excited to be here today, and we're glad everybody's out and really being able to provide some great feedback.
So you'll notice a couple of times they say great feedback, and I said, well, like what? I'd like to take your word for it, but just give me an example. So they sent me this email. I'll just read it really briefly. An attendant said, I attended the open house last night, and I was so excited about the route to the airport. I submitted that to the Q Market along with a bus route into Fort Gillem, which are all happening, and they give 2 applaud symbols. I'm over the moon with those additions for Clayton County. I love what you guys are doing, 100. I have another idea, but not sure how you and your team can implement it. But I've been busy with our local elections, and the forums are being held by our youth commission. How great would it be to have a youth commission for MARTA? They're not old enough to seat on the advisory board currently, but they could help prepare MARTA for our future ridership. So not really addressing the second part right now, but just to share with you the kind of enthusiasm that is indicative of the folks that have been attending these. And again, grateful for the collaboration and the partnership from the citizens in Clayton County. And so on to other news, just closing out with a few notable developments here at MARTA, including the fact that we're preparing our FY25 budget. It'll be shared with each of your offices for feedback this week. We're hosting 2 public hearings. You can see them listed there. One is tomorrow at the Maloof Auditorium, and then Thursday at MARTA headquarters. And then we'll go through a series of board presentations and resolutions to adopt the budget. And then it'll move through the MARTA board for approval. So we're seeking MARTA board approval on June 13th. Give you a sense of how quickly that too is moving. Speaking of budget, just as some of the top projects by FY budget on Clayton County. So we've got 4 items here, and this is the FY25 proposed spend on each of these projects, totaling $27.8 million. You've got Rapid South Lake, the Justice Center Transit Hub, the multipurpose O&M facility, and the Clayton Share and the State Route 54. Just a note about some stakeholder engagement, stakeholder meetings that we've been holding. We continue to meet with the Clayton Citizens Advisory Board. We're getting good feedback from some very active members. We also meet with the new leadership at Clayton State University. So this was the first meeting for Clayton State University's new leadership. We shared some project updates along with opening lines of communication for feedback as those projects continue to progress. We also discussed MARTA's needs in Clayton County for workforce. So we're going to explore how that university and its assets can best prepare students for those roles. And we look forward to partnership with Clayton State for MARTA open houses and other events. And on the theme of community engagement, we're happy to assist Commissioner Hambrick with her extravaganza on March 30th. And we also have plans to participate in the music event in June. It's always good for MARTA to engage with the public and spread the word about the history of MARTA whenever we get that chance. Also, we've selected the next round of the Riders Advisory Council. So pictured on the right is the event that we held late last week. So that was the Riders Advisory Council. It's an all-volunteer group dedicated to helping improve the transit experience for MARTA customers. This new 25-member council is composed of people drawn from MARTA's service area. During their 2-year terms, Riders Advisory Council members, or RAC members, will provide informed input to MARTA. Starting in June, the members will meet monthly to provide input into various topics, including how to help MARTA improve mobile apps and our digital customer communication platforms, our rail station appearance, and amenities and major transit expansion projects. In turn, they will learn about the inner workings of the transit system. Participants will participate in behind-the-scenes tours of operational facilities and receive staff briefings on proposed transit initiatives and MARTA's governance and finance. They also have opportunities to interact directly with the public during and other customers as they serve as transit ambassadors during sporting events and concerts. So we've got a few Clayton County reps here, Malachi Simmons, Donnell Suggs, Mark Taylor, and Valerie Williams. We're very grateful to each of those folks that are a part of this group as we move through the next couple of years. So this event last week included people, that were in the inaugural Riders Advisory Council, people that are just terming off, and people that are just coming in. So it was a feel-good moment for all. And with that, Chair Turner, I'll return the floor to you.
All right, thank you. Obviously, MARTA has been very busy.
Yeah.
And we like it when you're busy in Clayton County. Just to reconfirm, the BRT line is the first in your operating area and first in the state, correct?
Yeah, Summer Hill will be the first one that opens up.
Okay.
But I think this is the first to gain the second, but the first to gain significant funding will be the one in Clayton County.
Okay, can you slow that process down on other places so we can be first? I'm just saying.
If we cut the mic, I can answer.
Well, thank you for all that you're doing. Are there any
pleasure.
questions for Mr. Greenwood?
I do. I have.
Commissioner Davis.
First, thank you for the presentation. On the bus stops, with those current pads that we had, is there any way for future pads, for future bus stops coming in, to begin to expand those pads? A lot of those pads are on terrain that is totally irregular, not level. And if we could begin to expand those pads, even with, I don't care if it's a 5-foot walkway going out on each side of those, so that it begin to assist folks getting to those bus stops, as well as being able to safely move around, especially when it's raining.
Right. Okay, so the point I'll make here is, although the 1,000 Amenities program is drawing to a close, we are committed to continuing these very conversations, so it's not the end of the relationship for all of these locations, and sometimes it may be, refurbishing of an existing pad, or where no pad exists, or where the pad is insufficient based on new ridership patterns. Our bus network redesign may create more ridership ons and offs at different locations. We're very open to that relationship and continuing to fix those.
Thank you. And my next one is in relationship to the maintenance facility.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any type of educational workforce educational facility or set in that facility?
Oh, not inside the facility itself. Our training and education efforts will initiate, before the facility is even up, initiate outside of the facility with partners like Clayton State University and others. When we're talking about once the place is established, it becomes another MARTA operating facility. So it's not really a classroom setting, save and except for those people that are employees and are getting on-the-job training and recertifications and refreshers and things like that.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Commissioner.
Yeah, it's not a question, but I do have a request. When that facility is finished, the maintenance or whatever, any work in Clayton County, if we would actually hire Clayton County residents. Businesses have come and they have said, we're gonna hire so many Clayton County people or whatever, but if there is some way we can make sure that our residents or candidates and even, receive these jobs?
I'll answer it two ways. Yes, our intention is, I forget the number now because I haven't looked at it recently, but it might be 700 jobs coming to Clayton County in here. And I hear your point that they may work in Clayton County and then end up traveling to go back home somewhere else. It's our intention that when work is right here in Clayton County, it will build the residential cachet, if you will, of people. More importantly, we are talking to Clayton State University and Clayton-specific administrations about how they can get the students here at Clayton ready for work in that facility specifically. So some of the jobs are managerial, some of them are technical, some of them are blue collar, but all different levels of work. We're going to try to make it as enticing as we can to the students at Clayton. Now, on the flip side, there's no way of us ensuring that once a student from Clayton County starts working there, that they don't decide to move elsewhere. And we also can't restrict employment to Clayton only, but the fact that it's here in Clayton and the fact that our pipeline is being developed here in Clayton, I think it stands a good chance to really make sure that Clayton residents have a really good shot at that.
Okay.
And that is important, and you have not because you asked not, and of course, Commissioner Hambrick always asks that question.
Yeah.
One thing that MARTA does well is make sure that you have job fairs within our community.
Absolutely.
But it's also important that we have workforce development training,
Yeah.
so our citizens can properly train and prepare to be
Ahead of
able to
time.
be competitive for those type positions.
Yes, agreed.
So we thank you for what you do in that respect.
Our pleasure.
And that's a good idea, Chairman, for a job fair.
Yes.
Maybe before the facility opens and all, that would be a good thing.
Yeah, and as we mentioned earlier, we're talking about partnerships with the Clayton State University and the Citizens Advisory Board, and making sure that they're a part of our job fairs as we move through. So that'll help strengthen those bonds.
Okay, I have some ideas too. when
Okay.
we get to that.
Happy to talk.
Okay.
Thank you for your presentation,
Our
sir.
pleasure. Thank you.
Have a great day. All right. Nar Frank. Water Authority, how are you, sir?
I'm good. How about you, Chairman?
Doing well.
Good afternoon to you and commissioners. I'm grateful for an opportunity to stand before you as a CEO of Clayton County Water Authority. I'm a lifelong resident here, have the privilege of serving the Water Authority. As a CEO, we're a one-stop shop for water, sewer, and stormwater. We do serve our community of between 28 and 31 million gallons a day. That's the customers from a residential basis also to a commercial basis, and we recognize that great responsibility. You've all recently been seeing some highlights as it relates to these words, PFAS, something that really can scare our customers. And I just really want to give a little overview. I've crunched this presentation down, but just to share an overview from a consumer standpoint. I'm one of the consumers as well, just to understand what PFAS is and what it means to us as a utility, as well as it means to the community. When you look at what's highlighted there, the reality of it is we've been coping with and dealing with this in our environment since the 1940s. And really what it is a convenience, right? Convenience that we appreciate, from heat resistant, flame retardant, oil resistant, water resistant, and the list goes on and on, even to our dry cleaning. Or the floss that we use to floss our teeth, where these types of ingredients, which are man-made chemicals that get us to a point where we're exposed to what you call a PFAS or a forever chemical. And you see a list of those there, whether it's cookware, cosmetics, deodorant. But that list goes on and on and on. It's something we really don't think about until it was brought to our attention. EPD, EPA, there's a regulatory standpoint, and these things have been in existence since the 1940s. However, they've lowered that bar. 20% of what your exposure is comes through our drinking water. The other 80% is from all those things that I just mentioned to you. You see some clips of some pictures there. There are, of course, thousands different of PFAS that we're exposed to. And the reality of it, it is a very expensive process. As I mentioned, EPA, they just brought out a new regulation when it comes to these maximum contaminant levels. That's what the MCLs mean. And we have to meet those by 2029. There's about 6 components. 2 of those components we're a little bit higher. It's still very low, but when you think about that, nobody wants to be exposed to these types of chemicals. Just to keep it in mind, it's 4 parts per trillion. I'll just put that in somewhat of a generic term. If you look at 20 Olympic-sized pools, and you take 6 droppers of water, that's what you're talking about within this exposure. And they've lowered those limits so much that we, as a water authority, have not been able to meet them currently, but we have our goal, as I'll highlight to you as we move forward. Clayton County Water Authority, of course, we're an award-winning utility. We continue to exceed all standards within our universe of water. We are an example. In fact, folks travel far and wide to come see us, from reverse osmosis to our granulated carbon. Our treatment facilities are really second to none. We're also a recycle company, which kind of weighs. I'll tell you, there's no new water. I tell everyone there's no new water in the world. It's all recycled. It's all reused, but we recycle about 17 million gallons a day. It's a blessing and a curse because some of that same water comes back through our system that we have to reclean for usage. What you're looking at here on this chart is some of those PFAS components, and those numbers are showing you where we are with our plants and some of the areas that we may be over, like a 6.0 or 7.0. Our averages are minimal, but you're looking at a 4-point level height, and that, of course, could be something that can concern, but in reality, it's something that we all have to deal with throughout. We are pushing forward to get a treatment facility that goes beyond even the regulatory standpoint. There will be times when others will actually join that list, because Clayton County, as we move forward with our levels of PFAS, P4 treatment, and it says Clayton County Water Authority will recommend a contractor for completion of this project to meet the regulatory deadlines by 2029. We have no qualms about the idea that we'll be able to meet those regulatory requirements. I have personally been spending time with HOAs just to educate our community. We put a lot out on the website, and any alerts that come through, we share that with our commissioners, and of course you want to be educated as well when you speak to your constituents. Here's a sort of a layout of what this cost may be. The estimate is about $420 million. I honestly think between this and the time that we complete, we might be right at $1 billion. Now, the increase here would go also for infrastructure. We're looking out 25 years from a developmental standpoint of Clayton County. We got to prepare forward. We're going to make a parallel plant down there on, the Terry Hicks plant. We're going to make a parallel plant there that will actually treat and handle our large capacity, those that may be coming here from a economic development standpoint. We want to get ourselves ready for industry and get ourselves ready for growth, which goes hand in hand with perhaps what MARTA is doing. I see we're building more homes. We want more and more quality homes, and also homes for our seniors. But the Water Authority plays a major role from an infrastructure standpoint, and I can tell you that our infrastructure is one of the more advanced infrastructures here in the state of Georgia, and that is the absolute truth. We're doing a lead and copper program right now, which you might have seen that from a regulatory standpoint, and we're doing that now throughout our community and throughout our schools. So yes, our waters are safe to drink, and sometimes you say ignorance is bliss, right? So no one really hears about these things until it's highlighted on the news. I see this deadened down there, but it might heighten back up. I want our community to feel free to come see us at the Water Authority, even set up a tour to let you see the process of cleaning this drinking water for you, and how we maneuver throughout our environment in the community to gain your trust. It's critical. It's critical for us. Sorry about that. Just a little statement here. Clayton County Water Authority currently is meeting in city, as I said before. We are committed to caring for our community. I am indeed part of the community, and we will get that taken care of. Within the next 3 to 4 years. Is our goal. As an expensive process, you can see some of the avenues that we're going through, from GFA to WIFIA, to try and gain these funds. We do have some grant funds, but none of it measures up to 420 to 450 million. So I actually came here asking the commissioners for a check. No, I'm just kidding. But
no. This presentation's over.
Right.
No. On a very serious note, this is a serious responsibility for us, and we take it. It's always good to laugh. It's always
Amen.
good to laugh. But ultimately, I just want to reassure our community that we are doing the very best to care for them right along with ourselves in this community. And I love our partnership with, as community servants, servant leaders, it's a heavy responsibility. And it's my goal to gain and maintain that trust. So that's my brief presentation. Any questions for me?
All right, Commissioner Hambrick.
Yes, sir. Mr. Franks, you mentioned about the infrastructure and all, and I know some years ago, all this money was sent down from DC for infrastructure and all. And maybe the COO and the DCOO can answer this or help with this. Does any of that money go toward things like this with the Water Authority, or what? Or is it strictly for governments?
Yes, Commissioner Hambrick, first part of your question, the initial money that came down, the ARPA funds and some of the money that came down around the COVID time, we did work in partnership with our general manager in providing some funding to the Water Authority for some programs and services to the county. Specifically, what you're asking about is funding from the infrastructure bill that's in space. Yes, the infrastructure bill money can be utilized for capitalization of any of our authorities or even county government for that matter. So we certainly will work with Mr. Franks and his staff as we talk more about expanding opportunities through the infrastructure bill to find funding as well. So we can work in conjunction with that.
Oh, okay. Thank you. So that's
There go your money.
Right.
And we can sign something. No.
What-
I will share, go ahead.
Oh, no, go on.
I wanted to share with you that we're also part of a class action lawsuit with DuPont and 3M because they're major contributors. We do have contributors in our community now, but the reality of it is that they're also victims. They've been released by EPD and EPA to use these chemicals, so now they're trying to catch up and get to a certain point where they're eliminating and not using these chemicals, so it's no longer in our Flint River or in our Okmulgee and no longer in our sewer systems to come back into our system. So it's really going to take the community as a whole. Since 1940s, really our whole environment is infiltrated with it. Everywhere, so it's something that will continue to battle beyond all of us, to be honest with you.
I see you using EPA and EPD simultaneously, so what's the difference?
Well, Environmental Protection Agency, the Environmental Protection Department is more departmentalized. It may be more so for us, and that's what you saw on media. They were giving those regulatory requirements and changes. They even mentioned on the news of bringing it to a zero. Now, I don't know how practical you can get to a zero, even though it is our goal to eliminate every ounce of it. But that type of treatment process is, as you can see, 450 to a billion to get to that point.
Okay, so is EPD under EPA or vice versa?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And speaking of that, about the news and all.
Yes, ma'am.
So why did they name Clayton County?
Well, because
that
our
report?
levels on that other screen you saw, our levels in 2 areas are higher, which is out of the realm, or it will be out of the realm if we keep it the same by 2029.
Okay.
Right now, we're in regulatory requirements. We're there.
Okay. They just like calling Clayton County.
Well, they love Clayton County for several
You got
reasons.
something to add, Mr. Stanford?
Yes, sir. Chairman, as Commissioner Hambrick asked specifically about funding opportunities, we also want to go on record to talk about the assistance we're getting from our state senators, from Senator Ossoff as well as from Senator Warnock.
U.S.
Yes.
Yes,
You said state as a
senators, just
U.S., right.
yes, U.S. senators,
Okay.
and helping
Big
with helping with our funding opportunities. So through our Office of Resiliency, we've gotten quite a bit, and we work in tandem with the Water Authority as it pertains to stormwater runoff and a multitude of things in that space. Certainly that will help defray some of the costs on some of our capital infrastructure. But as we talk about the funding source, we did want to make sure that our citizens knew that not only we're looking at the federal government to provide us funding, but we do have opportunities through our senators to assist us in that space in providing funding sources. That certainly has been a departure from what we've gotten in the past. So,
Have we approached them about this particular project?
not this particular project, but we do have some follow-ups that we will provide them some additional context. Senator Warnock has reached out to the chairman's office about some expansion through some other programs, and we're going to make sure that we highlight the needs from the Water Authority in that conversation as well.
Great.
See, you're getting 2 checks.
No, I appreciate that.
Any
And
other questions?
thank you.
Commissioner Davis.
Yes,
Thank you,
one
too.
question relating to the 25-year plan. Have we begun to, 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 have we begun to research, investigate the sewer issue that we can begin to put our county on. I know many of our homes are on septic, a large majority. Have we begun to look at that within our 25-year plan?
Yes, sir, we have. That is also extremely expensive. We're talking billions. And currently, we've only got one or two areas that we're actually focusing our attention on, that from a geographical area we're able to put sewer in it because we got a connecting source.
Okay.
So it will take some time, and I don't have a problem showing you that layout.
My big thing was to make sure that it is being inserted into this plan, because
Absolutely.
that's where we're going as a community.
Absolutely, I agree.
Any other questions?
Well, not a question, but I would like to thank you
Yes, ma'am.
so much for every activity. I know every activity we have in District 2, that you have representation there. You know, the employees come with the big water tank
Yes, ma'am.
and all, especially on those hot days.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for that community service.
Yeah, I definitely like to echo that as well. Y'all are everywhere, very, very community engaged, and I appreciate that. And your employees represent you well.
Thank you.
So I just want to give them that kudos that you send out. They do the job, and they do it well.
We appreciate
So,
it.
if there's no other questions, thank you for your presentation. Thank you for all that you do for Clayton County and keeping those awards coming. All
Thank
right.
you. May I express my thanks to the commissioners and our partnership as well with the county. And those funds that you gave us, we helped over 1,000 people during COVID and beyond. We're still using some of those funds. Thank you.
That's good to hear. Thank you, sir. All right, that was the last presentation for the day. And if there's nothing else before this board, we will stand adjourned.